We give thanks for the gifts we receive, for the fullness we hold in our hands. But what about the times when life offers you nothing at all? Most people would meet that emptiness with anger, with a heart that shrinks, blind to any possibility. But there exists a path far less traveled, a way of seeing that can transform utter lack into unexpected wonder. This is the tale of a soul who thanked the universe for an empty bowl, and in doing so, reshaped her destiny. Long ago, in a remote valley nestled high in the mountains, an elderly woman named Elara lived by herself. Her days were quiet, her world small. The winters were harsh, and her little plot of land yielded meager harvests. Yet each morning, Elara would take her worn wooden bowl and walk into the whispering woods to forage. Her body ached with age, and the journey was long. But every evening, upon returning, she would offer a quiet word of gratitude for the scent of pine on the air, for the strength in her legs to carry her, for whatever few wild onions or roots lay in her bowl. The other villagers looked upon her with pity. "Poor Elara," they'd murmur, "alone with so little. What does she have to praise?" But Elara would simply meet their gaze, her eyes clear. "My life is rich," she'd say. "Beauty finds me in small ways." One neighbor, concerned, warned her of the coming deep freeze. "You must prepare. You need more." Elara shook her head, a gentle smile on her lips. "I am held. I have a hearth. I have these hands. I have the dawn light on the peaks." They simply could not comprehend her vision. Then came a bleak, frost-laced morning. Elara ventured out as always. The trees were bare, the ground hard. She searched from sunrise until the afternoon light grew thin. Her bowl remained utterly vacant. Not a single edible thing. Weary to her bones, she settled on the root of an ancient oak, looking into the hollow of her wooden dish. What would you do in that moment, when every effort yields zero? The natural reaction is despair, a cry against an unfair world. But Elara did not cry out. She sat in the gathering quiet, held the empty bowl in her lap, and whispered to it, "Thank you." From the shadow of the pines, a figure stumbled forward. It was a traveler, a man whose fine clothes were torn, his face gaunt with exhaustion. He had been lost among the crags for days, his supplies gone. Seeing Elara with her empty vessel, his last spark of hope seemed to die. "Old mother," he breathed, his voice ragged, "you have found nothing, and I am finished." Alara's expression softened not with pity, but with calm recognition. "This empty bowl is a gift," she said. "Had it been full, I would already be home by my fire. But its emptiness kept me here. Now I can share with you what I do have." From a fold in her shawl, she produced her last piece of journey bread. She showed him a hidden deer trail that led safely down the mountain. She gave him her arm to lean on. The traveler, whose name was Kale, ate slowly, life returning to his limbs. He followed her to her humble dwelling, where she stirred the embers to flame and offered him warm broth. He was astounded. "You thanked an empty vessel," he said, tears welling. "You saved me with what you called nothing." Kale was not merely a wanderer. He was a merchant of some means, whose entire caravan had been lost to a rock slide. He had been wandering, seeing only cruelty in his misfortune, but Elara's perspective began to reawaken his soul. He started to see value not in what was lost, but in what remained: kindness, a shared meal, a safe path. After regaining his strength, Kale returned to the distant city, but he never forgot the woman in the mountains. He sent messengers with provisions, with seeds for her garden, with a new stout door for her hut. But more than objects, he brought stories and a gratitude he had learned from her. "You altered my sight," he told her on a later visit. "I believed I had lost everything of worth in those mountains. I was mistaken. I lost only possessions. There, I rediscovered something true." And then the most profound return of all unfolded. Through Kale's extensive travels and inquiries, he discovered that Alara had a living daughter. Decades prior, during a terrible famine, the child had been taken to a distant village for survival, and all contact was lost. Each had believed the other was gone from this world. Kale brought them together. Alara's cottage was no longer silent. Her garden flourished. The hearth glowed with shared warmth. And all of this flowed from one conscious choice, one whispered phrase of thanks directed at an empty bowl. So what is the powerful truth here? The practice of gratitude is not a transaction for good fortune. It is the very lens that reveals fortune where others see none. It does not wait for the basket to be overflowing. True gratitude prepares the space for miracles to land. It makes room for rescue, for reunion, for a hope that feels entirely new. Alara possessed little, yet her thankful heart filled the lives around her with abundance. Kale had wealth, yet carried a hollow spirit until her example saved him. When you feel you possess nothing, think of the empty bowl. That void is not an ending. It is the quiet chamber where new beginnings are whispered into being. Gratitude opens eyes. It unlocks hearts. It reveals doors hidden in plain sight. The world does not guarantee you beauty. But if you choose thankfulness, you will discover it everywhere, even in the seeming void. The core lesson is this: you do not practice gratitude because life is good. You practice it to make life good. You choose it when your hands are full. You crucially choose it when your hands are empty. And that single choice, it changes the entire story. If this tale resonated with you, please like this video. It helps our channel, Daily Tale Dose, share more stories like this, and subscribe for weekly journeys into meaning. What is one small thing you are grateful for today? Share it below.